going on, guys, and welcome to another episode of Military Cashflow. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you all how I got over $500,000 in less than 2 months. All right. Now, before I do, you already know what to do. Go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. You got to hit the notification bell so anytime a new video pops up, you get notified. And please share this. There's plenty of people who can learn from this channel and hopefully get some value. But without further ado, let's get right to it. Okay, so how did we come across this deal? Well, I met a guy not too long ago who actually is a real estate investor, fellow veteran. We crossed paths several times. We even offered on some of the same properties together, and he won out more often than I did. But nonetheless, he reached out to me and he said, "Hey, Mike, I have this deal that I'm not going to move forward on. I'm curious if you're interested in it." So obviously, I want to review the deal. If this guy knows what he's doing, he's passing up on it, but he still thinks it's a value to pass it on to me. Yeah, let me take some time to review it. Now, if you guys don't know this, in the Real Estate Success Bootcamp, the course that we provide, description below, I talk about very clearly defining not only your criteria, right, but your goals. The criteria is huge because as soon as he sent me the deal, I was able to identify that I knew the area, it was in my target market, and it hit some of the main specific criteria for my goals, for my investment goals. Immediately, if it didn't, I could have wiped it away in 3 seconds and moved on with my life. But because it did, I decided to dig in deeper on the numbers, okay? So as I dug in deeper on the numbers, I realized that a few things were going on. One, the portfolio, it was about 7 different triplexes. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you probably have seen a post that I did on the same exact story, right? If you don't follow me, follow me. All right, so it was 7 different triplexes. And when I was looking at it, yes, it was undervalued, but most importantly, it was 100% occupied, but way below market rents by about 50%. So when I looked at it, I said, okay, for anybody who doesn't know, if you have a multifamily portfolio, fairly large one, right? 21 units in this case, that's 100% occupied in an area where the vacancy rate is typically somewhere between the occupancy rate is typically somewhere between 95 and 97%, meaning there is some vacancy. Typically, that means that it is undervalued because you should always be kind of pushing the limit on value. Well, I already knew that the market rents were way below by 50%. So I knew that there was a ton of potential value there, okay? And then overall, the way that it was packaged, there were individual triplexes all into one portfolio. I knew that it was undervalued because I knew the value of each one of those triplexes. So I was a little bit conservative with my numbers. I looked at it, and at the time they were asking about $450,000. Now I still think that was a great price. Don't get it twisted. $450,000 for 21 doors. That's not bad. So I looked at him and I said, okay, you know what? I'm interested, but 450. Let me go see the property first. So we walked the property, and I understood, the conditions were okay. It was okay, but they needed some value. Now, because I'm a little bit more comfortable with numbers and I've done a few flips, I was able to kind of quickly walk the property and make some estimations and repairs. All right. We'll get back to that here in a second. But after we made the estimation and repairs, we really started looking at some of the due diligence of it. One, I wanted to see the leases. I had to see the leases, right? I wanted to see how are the utilities kind of wired. And that's where it got kind of funky. Some of them were on well. Some of them were on city water, and then some were on septic, some were on sewer, electric. Some of them all shared 1 meter, and some of them were sub-metered. So it got a little funky going across the board, all right? After I did a preliminary type of due diligence, I decided to counter at $430,000. Not much, but I thought that the property had value or had potential for value. So I wasn't afraid to pay list price. You don't need to slice the price every time you go into contract, right? In fact, I probably would have paid the $450 to be quite honest. Well, we go through the whole thing. We finally get it under contract at $430. So now that we have it under contract, I quickly go out and try to see where can I fund it. I didn't have the money up front. I wanted to get the property under contract first. So when we go to fund it, find a private money lender, right? We've used them in the past, no issues there. And they said, hey, we'll give you 80% loan to value. And the value at this point in time was the purchase price. So they'll give me 80% of $430,000. Fair enough. I feel good with that. Understanding that I still need roughly about $100,000 to $150,000 worth of capital for renovations on the back end. You know, I did all the math. I felt pretty good there. Okay. Then I started looking at, all right, what's the exit strategy? As we're aware, there's plenty of value there to be added. I'll put in the renovations, refinance that bad boy, get back my purchase price, get back my reno costs, clean burr, right? Walk away cash flow. Not a bad strategy. Well, we go ahead and we start the appraisal process because yes, this private money lender didn't quite necessarily need the appraisal to lend it, but they wanted to make sure that they were going to be covered on their end, right? Once they funded that, hey, worst case scenario, we have to foreclose, we'll feel confident taking over this money. So we go in, we get the appraisals, come back, the appraisal value came in at $944,000 of a purchase price of $430,000, 100% occupied and currently cash flowing at the purchase price. The value was insane. Now, I was very conservative in my underwriting up front, right? As most people should be, but I felt confident to say, all right, well, I understand, hey, this is where my renovations are going to go. This is my conservative ARV. So when I do refinance, how much money is going to be left in? How much money am I going to take out? I understood all of those concepts, but I did not think the appraisal value was going to come out that high, which makes me feel much more confident moving forward at the 430 purchase price, right? Because I know that once the rents actually get up to market value and the renovations take place, the appraisal value ultimately is going to increase as well. Meaning we're going to be able to walk away with a lot more money on that refi than we originally thought. All right. So right away, there's the secret, guys. Boom. The appraisal value gave me the $500,000. That's the key. Now, disclaimer. I want to throw this out there. Okay. The $500,000 in equity is a beautiful thing. And when you guys start purchasing real estate, you need to understand that it's not always about the cash flow and about the profit. There are many ways to make returns on your money. One of them is the equity. Now, the equity, as we understand, is not realized, meaning you don't really put that money in your pocket, liquid, until one of two things happen. Either you actually refinance and you capture that new loan to value, or you sell. Okay. Once you sell it, obviously, boom, you take the proceeds and put them in your pocket. All right. That's a given. But nonetheless, it is a true measurement of a return in your current state, in your 12-month current state. That is real equity that is in my portfolio, our portfolio. I did partner with a business partner. Okay. Disclaimer number 2. Stay tuned for the results. I will put out another video. I want to make this very clear. Nothing about real estate is really just easy. Although that property came and it kind of fell into my lap, if you will, that's not really how it happened. I actually networked with this other individual several times. I went in and out of offers competing against this other individual several times. They understood that I knew what I was doing. They brought it to me because they knew if I was able to close it, they would get compensated as well as the wholesaler, as well as the seller, right? So they brought it to me because they knew I could perform. It took a lot of legwork to even build that relationship up to that point. Not only that, I go in and with my partner, who we both have several years and several deals of experience of renovations and things like that. And guess what? Our renovation budget of $150,000 was actually short by about $100,000. All right. So we skipped a few steps. We were in such a rush to acquire these properties because we knew the value was there that we didn't actually get the contractor quote in. Okay. So although we got that $500,000 in equity position, and don't worry, we're still going to turn out well. Well, what we thought was only going to be about a $550,000 project all in is going to be closer to about a $650,000 project. Now, the beautiful thing is the ARV is going to be more, so we're still going to be able to recoup most of our money, if not all of it, right? But it's important to understand that just because you get comfortable and just because you start to get that exposure and get those deals and that experience in, does not mean you won't make mistakes. Now, 500,000 was a win, but there was still some lessons to be learned in there. All right. So that is the summary of it all. That's how I made $500,000 in 2 months. Right. And like I said, guys, stay tuned for the update, because everything that glitters isn't gold. I think that's the right saying, right? Every grass is greener, but it ain't always grass, or something like that. It ain't as easy as it always seems. So I will share the updates to keep you guys posted along the way. But if you found value in this, you already know what to do. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Hit that like button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe, notification bell, and go ahead and share this, guys. And join us on the Facebook community. Do it. Chat in there. There's going to be a lot more videos like this coming out, and I hope you guys enjoy. Until next time, this is Mike Glaspie, signing off.